But Kasauti Zindagi Ki is a very important serial, yeah, because it tells us, because it helps us identify villains and vamps. Yeah. Do you know, guys, how to identify a villain or a vamp in India? I'll tell you, don't worry. All villains and vamps in India are wearing sleeveless. वो लोग पैदा ही स्पेगेटी में होते हैं. अगर आप स्लीवलेस बैकलेस पहनते हैं तो मतलब आप कैरेक्टरलेस ही हैं.
But I feel dark metal fans have nothing on Helen, right? Like, because most of her songs, it used to start off really sensuous and peppy, and midway into it, she would just start shaking her head, really violent. And you just didn't know what you should do. Should you, like, rush to her to like save her, to call the ambulance, give her some water? You just don't know. And I feel like people call this head shaking cabaret. I feel I call this refusing to be Salman Khan's mother, right?
Once upon a time, there was a little girl. She had opinions instead of dolls, goals instead of fairy tales, and worst of all, she had a mind of her own. The people of the village called her a vamp.
Want to start by saying that I find it very ridiculous that Indian cinema had to import a separate name for its female negative characters, because Indian culture in itself, I feel, has such a rich and long tradition of abusing women, right? Like, there are so many creative names that we have in India, right? Like, there is Diane, there is Churel, there is Vishkanya. What is this vamp business? I don't get it, right? Because I feel like the word vamp, it is so cute. It's like one Cardi B song away from being a compliment, right? Like, I can get down. If somebody calls me a vamp, I'll be like, yeah, thank you, I try to be. So, I think it should be a compliment, because the way I see it, a vamp is basically a woman who is ambitious. She's a go-getter. She's not afraid to speak her mind, and she's completely at ease around men, right? So basically, she is a Fortune 500 CEO with the added dancing skills. That's what she is. She's like Indra Nooyi with moves like Jagger. And like, that's like some next level snack, which I am aspiring towards at least. But yeah, anyway, my earliest memory of the word vamp is, I think, while watching a Helen song on Chitrahar, right? And the song was Aa Jaane Jaan, okay, in the movie Intikam. And I was actually watching this song with my grandmother, okay, and I remembered her commenting that the song was vulgar, right? Like, she quote unquote said that the song is vulgar. And even back then, I remember thinking to myself, yes, the song is vulgar, but not because of Helen, but because literally there is a man in this song who is painted in black paint, and he is speaking the suspiciously African dialect, and he's chained and caged throughout the song. I am not even making this up. Okay? Like, if this song was made, like, if the United States saw this song in 1969, like, I think Black lives would have started mattering way earlier than it started in 2020 only. Also, I think Helen has some 500 movie credits in her career. Okay, and I'll be honest, I've not watched most of these movies, but I think it's fine. I don't need to watch all Helen's movies to defend her character, right? Just like Indians don't need to know everything about a woman's life to attack her character. So, right, this is my way of restoring balance in this universe. I feel it's my way of going back. Yeah, she has a lot of vices in all these movies. She drinks, she smokes, she flirts with men. But I think her biggest crime in these movies was pairing green eyeshadow with pink tights, okay, and still making it look so glam. I can't even explain. Like, she looks like a goddess, and she does this without any Instagram filter, okay. That is like some next level beauty. Yeah. Like, here I am using Juno to hide everything, right? Like, ranging from my dark circles, my blackheads, my gray hair, my insecurities, my education, my depression. My Instagram filters are an answer for everything for me. But yeah, she was doing it like she was way ahead of her times. Also, she swore like a pirate on the screen, right, Helen, because she was a vamp. And some of her most shocking curses included idiot, damn fool, bitch, bloody bastard. These were our like legit shocking dialogues. इससे ज़्यादा swearing तो I feel Republic TV के journalists कर लेते हैं while chasing stars. So I don't know. This was a different era only. Also, HELEN also invented the original headbang. I feel like, I don't know if you have seen this, but I feel dark metal fans have nothing on HELEN, right? Like, because most of her songs, you know, it used to start out really sensuous and peppy, and midway into it, she would just start shaking her head, really violent. And you just didn't know what you should do. Should you, like, you know, rush to her to like save her, to call the ambulance, give her some water? You just don't know. And you know, I feel like people call this head shaking cabaret. I feel I call this refusing to be Salman Khan's mother, right? It is. She just did that. Also, one of her most iconic roles was in Dawn, right? Like the movie. In the movie, Amitabh Bachchan kills her fiance. So obviously, she decides to seduce him and hand him over to the police, right? Basically, she takes law into her own hands, which is completely fine because I feel Indian politicians have been known to do that for much less personal reasons. So, like, fiance is a legit reason to, like, you know, seduce the man who did that to you. But of course, she gets killed in the movie. HELEN has died in so many movies. I actually watched 3 movies: Dawn, Gumnaam, and Teesri Manzil. Okay, in all the movies, HELEN dies. Okay. If HELEN could have had a rupee for every time a director killed her in a movie, I think she could have started her own production house and launched herself as the real heroine of the movie. That's what could have happened. Also in Teesri Manzil, I think especially what happens is Shammi Kapoor chooses Asha Parekh over HELEN. Okay, Asha Parekh in the movie is a woman who initially suspects that like, you know, Shammi Kapoor has killed her sister, and she plots to avenge her sister's death, and I'm not making this up, okay, by getting him beaten up by the women's hockey team. Like, that's the revenge plan, that she wants him to get beaten up by the women's hockey team for killing her sister, like her own blood sister. What is this? Is this a revenge sequence or like the bonding scene of Chak De India? Right? I don't know what is happening. But at least she, like, you know, she could have consulted HELEN to, like, you know, plot her revenge. I think that would have worked better for her. In conclusion, I'd just like to say that HELEN was like, she was the original party starter, right? Like, she wore skimpy clothes on screen, she drank, she smoked, and she got really slut shamed for this way back in the 1950s and 1960s, right? She did all this just so that it becomes more acceptable for random pujas and paromitas to pass out on the pavements of Bandra West after a night of party, right? And pub crawling. Like, we as a generation, I think, owe it to vamps like HELEN for living our lives with autonomy. And that is the end of my bit. So, thank you.
But yeah, Paris Hilton, the original influencer, without whom, none of these other influencers would exist. And it's so interesting. I watched her documentary, and then her documentary made me cry. Okay, and I was like, why to, like, how, like, and I was telling people, you know, I watched Paris Hilton's documentary and it was really sad, and people would be like, isn't she that really rich dumb girl? Why are you crying over her documentary, you know? But then there's just so much about her. Like, she has, first of all, been slut shamed so badly. She's like become she became the definition of the party girl, the airhead, the bimbo, you know, everything like that. And the funny thing is, she was like, when you read up about her story, and when you get to know about her whole story of why she was behaving like that, like, you're like, you feel bad for judging her, And I remember watching her on Simple Life, and I actually enjoyed watching Simple Life.
Yeah.
And even though she was acting like this really dumb rich girl, like she always had a heart. Like there's a warmth about her, you know. And I remember I bought it. I thought she was that stupid until my friend told me she's a brilliant businesswoman. She's built a huge empire, and you can't do that if you're that stupid. So I started paying attention. I was like, okay, yeah. And then I watched her documentary, and that's when I realized, oh my goodness, she was playing dumb because because that's what the audience wants to see. We can't accept watching smart women. So you see a stupid woman doing stupid shit, and you're like, that's more believable for you, you know. So she had to really dumb herself down, and while all of us were laughing at her for being dumb, she was laughing all the way to the bank because of all the money she was making out of this whole make-believe dumbness. And then when you come to know that she actually had a very traumatic childhood, she was abused and all of that, it's quite crazy that she's still going so strong despite all of this. First of all, she was sent off to some weird boarding school where she was abused very badly, you know. Yeah, emotionally abused and all of that, and which is why sort of she developed a sort of split personality. So this really dumb thing, the fake voice that she puts out, it's all a mask. And when you think about it, it's really sad. And then, of course, the leaking of the sex tape. And it's really sad when she talks in her documentary about how she said that if that happened today, no one would have been laughing at me. And then there were people making fun of her sex tape, and there was like David Letterman talking about her sex tape. I saw a little segment where he was like, yeah, there's this sex tape. Have you guys seen it? Yeah, I watched it. And then the audience is laughing. And I just found that so creepy. Like a 50-year-old uncle is like, yeah, मैंने sex tape देख लिया. वो बेटी का हाँ sex tape हाँ देखा मैंने देखा. I was like, okay, oh my goodness, how did we allow these people to get away with these jokes? And then her boyfriend, he conveniently sold their sex tape to all these media outlets just because he was annoyed with her after they broke up. I mean, like you have assholes, like regular assholes, then there are these other assholes who are more assholey than the other assholes, you know, like the premium level. This is like creamy level wala asshole, you know, like he's asshole pro plus, you know, like that level like, who does that? You know. And despite all of this, she's just sailed through, made us believe that she's stupid, and then she's just collecting all her millions on her way to becoming a billionaire. And then all of us are just sitting in our pajamas and watching her on TV and judging her. And then we realize, like, wait a minute. Who's the idiot here now?
In the lockdown, I spent a lot of time home, obviously, and which means I spent a lot of time with my mother. And मेरी माँ का ना एक ही शौक, एक नहीं दो शौक है. पहला हमारे लिए पति ढूंढना, और दूसरा कसौटी जिंदगी की part 2, which is exactly like part 1. Okay, don't worry, I'll tell you the whole plot in 2 lines because writer को भी उससे ज़्यादा की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ी. It is about these 2 women, Komolika and Prerna, who are fighting over one man, Anurag. Okay. I recently saw one episode. Okay, I won't lie. I saw one episode for research purpose. Okay, in that episode, Komolika says, Anurag, मैंने तुम्हें अपना दिल दिया है. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि मैंने अपना दिमाग यूज करना बंद कर दिया. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is feminism. Okay. That's what I think, at least. Or that's the closest Indian television is coming. And in that same episode, Prerna is saying, मुझे अनुराग पे पूरा भरोसा है. In this serial, Anurag has left her 999 times. He left her once when she was pregnant. He once tried to push her off the terrace. And she's still saying, मुझे उस पे भरोसा है. This woman is so blind कि her biopic is going to be called Andhadhun Part 2. In my head, this was really funny. And the good news is this role में भी आयुष्मान खुराना ही होगा because Ayushmann can do everything. If you guys don't know who Komolika is, then let me tell you, Komolika as a vamp is very attractive. Okay, she knows how to carry herself. Every time she enters a room, all the men start staring at her. And as you all know, that is the very definition of black magic. इस definition के हिसाब से अगर J.K. Rowling लिखती तो Hogwarts का नाम होता Spritzvilla, and Lord of the Rings would be about an engagement ring. But I hope Tolkien knows that Imtiaz Ali has already made that movie, Harry Met Sejal. Yeah, it's about Anushka's engagement ring. See, people hate Komolika because she is very upfront. Okay, like if she has feelings for Anurag, तो वो जाके बोल देती है उसके मुंह पे. She's like a full go-getter and all, ठीक है. And Prerna, मतलब she is very passive aggressive. मतलब वो कभी अपने feelings express नहीं कर पाती. ये serial 2 बार बन चुका है, ठीक है. पर आज तक प्रेरणा ने अपने पहले प्यार का इजहार ही नहीं किया. And that is the reason she's jealous of Komolika. Like, if you want to be jealous of Komolika, you have to be jealous of 2 things. Firstly, that she only wears designer clothes. Like in Indian television, she has the best wardrobe. Yeah.
Oh.
And secondly, that she is her mother-in-law's choice. I mean, ये इतना मुश्किल है. Like, आप mother-in-law का approval ऐसी चीज है कि आप पैसे से भी नहीं खरीद सकते. मतलब आपको पैसे से सरकारी नौकरी मिल सकती है, mother-in-law का approval नहीं. मैंने try किया है. आप Rolex देके देख लो, washing machine देके देख लो. They are not going to approve of it. And which boy goes against his mother's wishes? This Anurag is so unrealistic. He should be a part of Indian media. I like the fact that Komolika always takes charge. Okay, so when she has to take revenge, she is no damsel in distress. मतलब एक बार ऐसा होता है कि कोमोलिका को ये लोग जेल में डाल देते हैं, तो कोमोलिका कॉप्स का कार लेके भाग जाती है. Okay, and don't worry, the cops have not started a cab service. It's just that they are tired of listening to Nika, Nika, पूरा time in the police station. Police station को उसने radio station बना दिया है. यही 2 रुपए वाले जोक है मेरे पास. Sorry guys.
That was funny.
In this, like in the beginning, when they need to establish that Komolika is evil, okay, they show that she's in an open relationship. She's with a lot of men, and one of the guys even threatened to commit suicide for her. Okay, so when that happens, she does not give a fuck. Okay, and as you all know, that the 2 worst things that a woman in India can do is first lose her virginity and second keep her sanity. इससे बुरा क्या हो सकता है? But कसौटी जिंदगी की is a very important serial, yeah, because it tells us, because it helps us identify villains and vamps. Yeah, do you know, guys, how to identify a villain or a vamp in India? I'll tell you, don't worry. All villains and vamps in India are wearing sleeveless. वो लोग पैदा ही spaghetti में होते हैं. अगर आप sleeveless, backless पहनते हैं तो मतलब आप characterless ही हैं. But when we meet Komolika in the serial, she's already successful. मतलब वो already ऐसे badass, ठीक है. और ये बंदी, she is like middle class, मैं दुखी, वो first Anurag comes to rescue her, फिर उन दोनों में झगड़ा हो जाता है, ठीक है. Then Mr. Bajaj comes to rescue her. He is even richer than Anurag. Throughout they are like Komolika is a gold digger, Komolika is a gold digger, पर सारा गोल्ड तो ये ले गई. गोल्ड डिगर, आई नॉट अंडरस्टैंड. ये तो उनका पैसा खर्चा कर रही है, इसके लिए पार्टी दे रही है, महंगे महंगे कपड़े खरीद रही है. कोई समझाओ कोमोलिका को यार. Also, you were when in the second serial, like the villains were much better than the budget for the villains were much better than the actors. So Hina Khan played Komolika. So Hina Khan walked Cannes last. Yeah. So she has given one more hit serial. ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है? I don't watch all this, obviously. She's a good actress. And she was in Big Boss also. And Mr. Bajaj was played by Bipasha Basu's husband.
Oh, that
Karan.
And he cannot act.
He cannot act.
He had 2 expressions. These are his 2 expressions, guys.
These are 2.
These were only 2. Yeah, you didn't see the change. Even I didn't see. So, और there is a scene जहाँ पे अनुराग उसको टेरिस से गिरा देता है, and Mr. Bajaj, and वो पानी में गिरती है, मतलब हुगली river it's called, right? Yeah, हुगली में गिरा देता है उसको, और पानी के नीचे से मिस्टर बजाज आके उसको उठा लेता है.
क्या? What is the Aquaman?
But about his husband. So,
Oh.
God.
yeah.
And let me guess. He removed his shirt. Pani ke
Obviously,
andar.
he never.
It's his second expression, I think. Okay, fine. I'm just scared. I know.
She used to do this hair tour.
Hair thing with her hair also, yeah.
Yeah.
But like another thing that they keep doing, like for any vamp in Indian serials, is like heroine है तो कैमरा इधर रहेगा, vamp है तो कैमरा बम पे रहेगा. मतलब हीरोइन का एंट्री सीन ऐसे आता है, हीरो का एंट्री आता है, हीरोइन का वैम्प का पहले बैक दिखाएंगे, कमर दिखाएंगे, मतलब कहाँ कहाँ पिंच करना है वो बताएंगे, फिर वो दिखाएंगे. That's the fucking truth.
Devil Wears Prada, right? Like Meryl Streep, she wears the pants in that movie so much. It should be called Devil Wears Nada, right, guys? That's my first and only. That's the only reason why I came here, just for that part. But I feel okay. I feel it's so shitty of them to cast Meryl Streep in that, because you can't hate Meryl Streep. You know, like she's just this amazing actress plus overall amazing person as well, right? Yeah. It's like casting a dog to play Hitler. Like, you know, no matter how you're still like, yeah, but look, it's a Rottweiler, it's so cute, you know. But so firstly, the reason I think everyone thinks of her as a vamp, and correctly, I still am very unclear as to is she the vamp or not in that. So for me, let me know, is because of that last scene where Stanley Tucci is, you know, like he's expecting the promotion and finally will be made it, but then she just completely ignores it. Like, what a bitch! Like that's why they try to. But I mean, that's okay. I mean, like that's on Stanley Tucci with her. It's because you know, everyone. I feel Stanley Tucci was one of the many characters, many employees in that office who thought everyone feels they're going to become the next CEO, right?
Yeah.
We all have that, like, okay, fine, the CEO's left, and I guess I'm next in line. No, but I'm just an associate who just joined 2 weeks ago. So that's the thing. And I love the character. There's what not to like. Such a power trip of a person. Especially that scene where she's like, you know, what you wearing, I decided like years ago what you're gonna wear now. What a wow. Like that is just, imagine that's some like BDSM level boss move right there, you know, like it's just psychological in nature. And I really gotta think about it, you know, like it's just like I have this t-shirt now, right? Which is just we all are wearing like some t-shirt, which is just a like phenomenon in India like 20 years ago, right? So like 30 years ago is when t-shirts exist. So it's for Indians. We would all be in like kurtas and all of that. And that was decided at some point, which is great. I mean, as someone who hates to decide what they want to wear, you know, on a daily basis. I love the fact that it gets decided on me, and that movie showed me that. Anyway, what am I talking about? Yes.
Like, I think the only reason she's being called devil is because she's on top, or she's ambitious. I think if the same movie had a man, nobody would watch it. They'd be like, ये तो normal है, इसमें क्या हो गया? उसने कॉफी मांग ली, वो तो बीवी से भी घर पे मांगता ही होगा.
Yeah.
You know, it's just because that, you know, she's a woman. It's like, oh, evil.
Yeah.
Also, the real bad guy in the film is honestly Anne Hathaway's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an extensive thing
Like,
about it, yeah.
I remember I just couldn't stand. I just found him so annoying. Like, how unsupportive can you be? You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's just this runway we're talking about. I don't care about your stupid birthday.
And I'm bringing cupcakes for you all. Have some respect.
Red lipstick. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I always feel like we are always कोई भी event होगा तो मतलब हम पे थोड़ा सा pressure ज़्यादा रहता है कि उसको attend करो, ये करो, wish करो time पे. And there are always jokes about, oh, he forgot anniversary, so cute. At least he's still in the marriage now. Oh, you're so lucky.
Apparently, it's inspired from a book.
You know, the book is there in every bookstore with that thing on top, a major motion picture.
Yeah.
ये bookstores ऐसा क्यों करते हैं? अगर ऐसा लिखा है तो कौन book पढ़ने वाला है?
Yeah.
So stop doing this, right?
Yeah,
We should just.
Which is another thing now. They have graduated with the second thing. It's now soon to be a major motion picture.
Like never want to do it.
So, which every book can write. No, technically, you don't know how soon.
Yeah, definitely.
8 माले वाला घर दिल्ली में बनाना, काली मस्टैंग 20-30 पे चलाना, ऑडिटोरियम में गूंज सिर्फ मेरा गाना, थक के बहुत लगने पर इरादे मेरे पक्के।